My name's Theo. My preferred pronouns are they, them. I studied in London. I always knew I wanted to study abroad. My mom's from Europe. I've been to Europe a couple of times before. And so the idea of getting to go spend an entire semester in England, especially where I'd never been but had always wanted to visit, was incredibly exciting. So I have several health problems, chronic health conditions that can be pretty disabling for me. I have a fainting disorder, some chronic pain stuff, and that always makes things seem like they might be impossible because when you have chronic pain and you have days where you get debilitating migraines or your legs aren't working right, being in a foreign country is really terrifying. And even more so, I have experience like navigating the school system with conditions like that, but going to a new place and not knowing anybody was kind of intimidating on how I would deal with that. And of course, there were days where I was in a lot of pain and there were excursions I couldn't go on because of it. But that's something that someone in my position is just kind of used to. That being said, I did get to experience so many things just being abroad. Even on days where I couldn't go out and about with my friends, I had access to different media that I didn't have in the States, or I could watch different movies because Netflix is different. And all of my professors actually at my program were more than willing to accommodate and accept things late, and they were very understanding about my situation. Self-advocacy is something that I've always kind of had a little bit of skill with, which is just natural when you identify as non-binary and you have to remind people to use your correct pronouns, or when you have a disability and you have to ask for help and support. But it's always something that can grow. That skill can always grow, and sometimes, you know, you can get really comfortable and your ability to advocate for yourself can kind of shrink. But one of the best things about studying abroad is that you grow your independence, and self-advocacy is just a type of independence. It's just that ability to understand what you need and explain that to other people so that you can be supported and respected. And I feel like while I had that skill, I was able to improve it a lot in London, as well as other facets of my independence. Well, I think it can seem really intimidating if you approach it as like, I have to talk to all of these people and I have to explain all of these things to everyone. And you don't have to do that. That's not an easy thing to start with. I personally am comfortable going to a ton of people and explaining things, but I have a lot of practice. And I think that you just have to find one person to trust, and then people will help you work through it, because everybody wants you to succeed and they want you to do well and they want to be there for you. So if you can just focus on finding one person, then you're more able to gain that network. So I think the biggest preparation is like, you got to make sure that your meds are taken care of and that you have access to everything that you're going to need. Make sure that you know like how to get to a doctor, because that's probably inevitable. And then if you need any medical equipment dealing with that, I didn't bring anything with me, which I did end up regretting. So I had to order some crutches on Amazon. And London itself is a very walkable city, but when you struggle with walking, that's not very helpful. I mean, the older a city is, the more inaccessible it is. So when you have a city like London, things are going to be inaccessible. And so you just kind of have to, you just gotta get used to it, I guess, and make things work for you. I think the biggest thing is building in time to get to places. If you know that you're gonna be struggling with accessibility, you're gonna have to take more time to get to and from everything. I mean, it is a lot of work, but it's work that needs to be done on UMass campus or at, or wherever you are. Like that needs to happen no matter what. And so finding your support and utilizing those resources is going to happen no matter where you are. And I love UMass, but London, the history there is so rich. The classes that I got access to were so incredibly worth it. I had a class where every other week we went on a field trip to a different neighborhood in London, and we had someone who knew so much about the city explaining every single facet of that neighborhood to us. And that's not something that I could get here. So yeah, I had to, talk to people and make plans and know where my doctor was and get all my meds organized and use crutches. but I got to go spend 4 hours learning everything I possibly could about Brixton or about Bloomsbury or wherever we were that particular week. So that effort needs to be put in no matter where you are in the world. So you might as well take advantage of being able to go somewhere else in the world.